Welcome to the Run Yogi Diaries podcast. Thanks for stopping by. My name is Santosh Shiva. I'm the podcast host and the creator. This podcast is about stories. Through conversations with ordinary people on extraordinary journeys, through their endurance sports achievements, we explore their motivations, strategies, and what keeps them going. Each of us have the possibility to be athletic. And being athletic is not just physical. It is also a victory of our will over the ordinary circumstances that we live in. I hope you take back some inspiration, some motivation, and hopefully go back and perspire. Stay inspired. Excited to have in the house today a very interesting guest, Kiran Krishnamurthy. His story is interesting because for most people, running journey typically starts with trying to lose weight. And again, I'm generalizing. There are exceptions out there. And Kiran is for sure an exception. He is considered to be underweight. And for most people like him who started running, it's like, why are you running, right? So we get behind the scenes on what's behind his motivation, what got him going, and how did he actually end up becoming an ultra runner, a fast Boston qualifying runner, all that good stuff. So stay put, enjoy the conversation, take away something, and let's dig in. If you're new to the channel, please do remember to subscribe, hit like if you like this video, and leave your comments if you took something away. Hey Kiran, welcome to Run Yogi Diaries.
Hi Santosh, so nice to be here. Thank you so much for having me here.
It's a pleasure. Another member from the Shades. We've had talked to some amazing athletes from your area, and here you are. You've been doing some great stuff, and obviously, you're a Boston finisher and also an ultra runner who recently finished last year the Tahoe 200. So it's all incredible. When I tell people that people run 200 miles, they fall off their chair. Most people can't get their handle around running at 26.2, and here are people like you who do 100 milers and 200 milers and kind of taking it to another level, right, in terms of endurance and fitness. So we're going to dig into all of that, but before that, maybe let me take a stab at introducing you, and then we'll go from there.
Sure.
So, Kiran, from what I know, you're a tech professional, born and in Tamil Nadu, but has roots connected to South Karnataka, Mangalore side, and currently live in the Bay Area, married, kids, all that good stuff, right? And so, did I miss anything there?
I was born in Bangalore, brought up in
Oh,
Tamil Nadu, and I have one
okay.
son. He is 14 years now. Yep.
Okay, got it. So I got it. I got it mixed. I got it other way around. All right, great. So Kiran, I think what might make sense is we should probably jump into a bit of your own, do a flashback around your journey in terms of where it all started
So,
and why did you first of all embrace running in first place? How did it get started for you? So we can go there.
okay. Yeah. So I did run. I started running very late in life. I've been running for 7 years now. So not a lot of running so far. I started running when I turned 41. I think around 41 is when I started running. Um, I mean, I've been very active in school. I've been part of my school cricket team. I've been part of the hockey team. I played. I've been part of the table tennis. I've done running
Hmm.
at school. But after school, nothing. I mean, I was I
Yeah.
never did anything. I would play badminton once in a
Right.
while. I would play table tennis once in a while, but nothing at all. And I've always been on the lighter side of my
Mm.
weight. I mean, I've always been less than 100 pounds. I'm very light. I'm underweight. So I never felt I needed to do anything because I'm not
Mm.
a heavy person. So I would never
Mm.
go to a gym. I would never do anything. I would never even hike or even walk. Running was
Mm.
something too much for me. I mean, I never
Far
even
away.
thought of running. Yeah, so I lived in New York for about 7 years. I never even knew that there was a New York marathon that happens every year and it's so popular. I mean, I never had anything related to running in my life.
Mm.
So that's how I was. And then I think uh, somewhere down the line, I realized that I had to run for something for a very short distance. I mean, it was not
Mm.
very far. I tried to run. I was getting late to a meeting. I just ran, and then I realized that I was not an orphan. I mean, I would get there. I was breathing so heavily, and
Uh,
uh, I mean, I thought I was always fit. People would tell me you are so light. I mean, you don't
yeah.
have any fat on you. You look so good. I mean, you don't need to
Mm.
do anything. Then I realized that no, it's not true. So I started running from the very same evening. I started
Mm.
running. I found it very, very difficult, but then yeah, that's how you get started. So
Ah, nice. You know, that's quite amazing, isn't it? I've had guests on the show, and majority of people, kind of restart running in their middle age or late adulthood. Most of the time to lose weight.
yes,
That's usually I would probably say 80% of the time, and yours is a different scenario where you didn't have that as an issue, but
yes,
fitness was still an issue. And I think when we talk to people, and this is kind of a common theme in fitness in general, people assume that uh, if you're less in weight, it means you're naturally fit, and people who are
yeah, yeah.
slightly on the heavier side are not fit. But
Not
it could be the
no.
spectrum, it may not be the
Yep,
case, right?
yep.
Right,
It's
right.
so many untrue. I mean, people who are fat, it doesn't mean they are not fat. People who are
Yeah,
very thin doesn't mean they are very, very fat. It's
yeah,
and
yeah.
then another thing that happened is uh, that time the Fitbit challenges were very popular. So a
Mm,
group of
mm.
my high school friends, we got together, we played a Fitbit challenge. Every week,
Uh,
whoever gets a maximum number of steps would be
uh-huh.
the winner of that week. And then uh, I was part of that group. We were about 7 or 8 people, and every week we
Mm,
would try to get the maximum number of steps to win it. I realized that just by walking, I would not be able to beat other people. So I thought, let me try to run. Because in the limited time you have, if I run, I get more steps and I
yeah.
win that weekly challenge. So I started running. So all of these happened around the same time, and then that's how I got into running.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And I think great. And I think your story really amplifies the fact that fitness is different from body weight. And no, I think we'll get into that as
Yeah,
well. But that's a great message for folks out there, right? Um, so yeah, so let's kind of jump in. I know you're a road, you conquered the roads, you conquered the trails. So we probably maybe start with your journey to BQ, the road running. So how did it
okay.
start? I mean, did you start with like a 10K first and half marathon, and then give us a sense?
Yeah. So what I did, I started running in 2016.
Mm, mm,
That is when I started running, and the first thing I did, I think one of my friend uh, put me on to a local running club over here. So I live here in the Bay Area, in Cupertino, and a friend of mine looked up the meetup and then told me there's a local running club. Because I was running alone and I was not able to run more than half a mile, 1 mile when I started. I would run, I would not feel good, I would get back home. I would like, go back again the next evening, trying to run a mile, get back home. So I wanted some people around me, and then the running club was something that was a good option. So I went and joined the running club. Every Saturday we would meet, and then we would try to run a 5 mile or something. I couldn't run
Hmm.
a 5 mile when I started. People they would wait for me, and then I felt very bad that people were waiting for me. So I would come back home. I will go back and try to run the same route again the next day and sometime during the week. So I get a little better and I don't have to have people waiting for me. So that's how I started. And
Hmm.
my company were the sponsor, one of the sponsors of the SFO half marathon and the full
Hmm.
marathon
Hmm.
in the year 2016. So I
Hmm.
was getting
Hmm.
a free pass to run that. I could either choose the half marathon or the marathon. So I said, let me choose the half marathon.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
and that's how I never did 5 or 10 kilometers.
Hmm. Hmm.
My very first race was a half marathon,
Hmm.
and I trained whatever I knew. I
Yeah.
trained. I went and ran that. I finished it in about 2 hours and 25 minutes. I
Hmm.
mean the second half of the half marathon didn't go very well,
Uh-huh.
but I finished. I was very happy. So yeah, that was my very first half marathon in July of 2016.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
It's not been too far long. I mean, considering what you've done. So then what happened? So you did the half marathon.
Yeah.
Did you just sign up
Yeah.
immediately for a full or?
No, so what I did again, when you're part of the running club,
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
and many people over there, it was not a road running club, it was a trail
Hmm.
running club, and people there were
Okay.
running ultra marathons. So people were talking about 100 milers. I never even knew. I mean, there was people were running 100 miles that time. I mean, they would talk about 100 milers. They would talk about a Bartley marathon and
Hmm.
so many things. So, uh, and then they even spoke about the Boston Marathon, and that was the very
Hmm.
first time I heard about the Boston Marathon. So I immediately I put a goal saying I want to qualify and run the Boston Marathon.
Wow.
And I came back home and looked it up. I needed to run a 3 hour 10 minute or 3 hour 15 minutes, and then I think 2 years from then it became a 3 hour 10 minutes. So that was the time, and by then I ran a 2 hours and 25 minutes half marathon. So I was a
Yeah.
long way off, but I
Yeah.
continued my training, and then in November I ran the Berkeley half marathon in 2016, and I
Okay.
was able to finish under 2 hours. I think I finished in
Hmm.
1 hour and 58 minutes. So I thought,
Hmm.
okay, I mean, I've got 25 minutes faster in like 5 months. So I thought things are looking really good. I thought I'm
So
ready
so
for
what
a
did you
marathon.
do?
Uh,
What do you think was the key for that? The 25 minutes shaving off.
I mean, I just feel it was running, being very consistent. I never did
Hmm.
any speed workout. I didn't know about interval running, or I didn't know about
Hmm. Hmm.
any tempo run. I wasn't aware of all that. What I did was I would run 4 to 5 days a week,
Hmm.
every week, and I was maintaining a volume of about 35 to 40 miles a week. I
Hmm.
think that is all that helped to get. So I
Right.
knew just by that volume and being consistent of doing 4 to 5 runs a week,
Yeah.
that got me a 25-minute
Hmm. Hmm.
improvement in my half
Right.
marathon.
Hmm.
And I signed up for a marathon. I thought,
Hmm.
okay, now at that marathon, it was a local marathon here in Fremont, and I saw that people were qualifying for Boston
Hmm.
using that marathon. So I thought,
Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
let
Hmm.
me see
Hmm.
where I am.
Hmm.
I didn't know then that a half marathon and a marathon are so different. I thought if I
Hmm.
could run a 2 hour half marathon, I could run a 4 hour marathon. I mean, that's how I was. I mean, so I went and started it. Uh, it was all good. I think I did the half marathon in 2 hours. This was in 2017. I think in the month of April or something when I signed up for this marathon. And then it all, I mean, it started falling apart after mile 16. I was,
Uh,
I was just literally puking. Uh, water, I mean, I would go to an aid station, I would drink water, I would just leave within 3 to 4 minutes, I would puke. And then I would
mm,
try to get the electrolyte, I would puke. Nothing was stable. I literally was, I mean, not even walking. I don't, I
mm,
mean, it was so slow. I finished that. I didn't give up. I was like, I have to finish. So I finished it in over 6 hours. I think I was
wow.
the last but one finisher in that marathon. People who are running that, they wanted to get the Boston qualifier. So they were pretty good,
Yeah.
fast
Yeah.
runners. So I finished in over 6 hours. Yeah, that was,
Wow.
I mean, I
Eye
knew
opener.
that eye opener. I knew that a marathon is very, very different from a half marathon. That is when I realized that marathon I have to do a lot more work to do a
Hmm.
better at marathon.
Yeah.
So that was an
That's
eye
quite.
opener.
That is but also quite interesting, right? Because you were doing almost 35, 40 miles a week, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you had already done sub two, half. And so, what did you think at that point? What do you think was? I mean, that sounds a little atypical because if you're doing 40 miles a week, you have fair amount of endurance, and you are a sub two marathoner. Maybe you may not do 4.5 hours. Maybe you do 5 hours. Typical. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
So what happened? What
yeah,
happened to you?
yeah. So what? I mean, even as soon as I finished the marathon, I got back home. I was still growing up. And then and in my wife gave me some rasam and everything. And then I had that. Within 2 hours, I felt like normal. I felt like
Hmm.
I could go out and run another half marathon. Or I
Hmm.
felt so good. My body was feeling really good. My leg was feeling very good. So I realized what didn't go well was my stomach. Uh, I felt that is what did not work for me because I felt really good. My legs were feeling good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't have any pain, even though I ran 26 miles.
Yeah.
Whatever the pace, I still completed 26
Yeah.
miles.
Yeah.
But I felt my stomach was had turned upside down. I didn't do something right in terms of what I was eating or drinking. So then I started looking around uh, what I need to do. And then I realized that you need to take in good amount of electrolyte, you need to take in
Hmm.
salt, you need, I mean, I may have not taken enough calories, I didn't eat
Hmm.
much. So then
Hmm.
I looked around, I asked people, and they told me about having gels.
Hmm.
So I then started trying out so many gels. I mean, I think
Hmm.
I would try something, it wouldn't work. I wouldn't eat the gel. I mean, I would eat one, I would eat two. More than two, I was not able to eat. So then people would tell me that someone is doing another, I mean, there's so many gels in the market. So they
Hmm.
told me,
Hmm.
I've done this, it worked really well for me. I will go buy that.
Hmm.
It wouldn't work. Someone else told me something else. I kept trying so
It
many
just wouldn't
gels.
suit your stomach,
It
basically.
just didn't work for me. My stomach didn't like the gel at all. I mean, whatever I tried, it just didn't work.
So
So,
the day of the Fremont Marathon, did you also end up having the gel the aid stations give you?
no. So all I was doing that day was I was eating whatever bananas, not bananas.
Hmm.
I think they had oranges. I was eating the
Okay.
oranges, and they were giving me an electrolyte. I don't even know what it was. I never.
Hmm.
So normally, then I knew people were telling me that you should never do something new
Hmm.
in the
Hmm.
race.
Hmm.
Whatever
Hmm.
you do in the race, you need to try it out. well in advance.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that was my very first marathon. Whatever they were giving it out to me, I was drinking, and it was very, very
Mm.
colorful. There was an orange colored drink, there was some purple
Yeah.
colored drink. It was some flavored electrolyte.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't even know what it was. I That's all I had. I mean, so
So
I
are
never
you
knew about nutrition.
someone who's has been traditionally someone with sensitive stomach, or is it something new that you discovered?
Uh, I mean, I was not a very good eater from the
Hmm.
very beginning. I mean, I would eat. I'm a person who likes homemade food. Anything
Hmm.
made at home, I eat very well at home. But the
Hmm.
moment I step out, I
Yeah.
don't like something
Hmm.
else. And I'm a vegetarian. I eat egg, but I'm a vegetarian who only eats egg. So when I go out,
Right.
uh, whatever choices you have for vegetarian are very limited, and
Yep.
I don't like. I'm very specific about what I eat out. I don't like what I get outside. So at
Yeah.
home I
Yeah.
eat well, but whenever I go out, I don't eat very well.
Got
So
it.
yeah,
Got it. Cool. So yeah, back to kind of you now looking at gels. Nothing is working for you, and you finished the Fremont Marathon. And what was the next for you in that? Did you sign up for another marathon, or what was going on?
yeah. So what I did, I signed up for more uh, half marathons, and then
Hmm.
I did more running on the trail. I was doing a lot more half marathons. So
Hmm. Hmm.
2017, I think, was more of half marathon. I tried to do a 30-kilometer type of a run as a
Okay.
race. I was doing all that, and then I was trying out uh, the eating part of it. It was working well, and then again a friend recommended me to a coach who was in India.
Hmm.
So I spoke to him. I told him I want to qualify for Boston, and I even wanted to do the six major marathons,
Hmm. Hmm.
the
Abbott's measure. Hmm.
world
Hmm.
marathon
Hmm.
majors. So I had applied for the Chicago Marathon, and I had gotten in the lottery, and that was in 2018. I had got into the Chicago Marathon. I think that was my second marathon. After
Hmm.
Fremont, I never ran any marathon from 2017 until that Chicago Marathon. So when I trained, I got a proper plan as part of my training, because earlier I was doing it on my own. But here I had a proper plan where I would do a speed workout, I would do a long run, I would do a 20-mile long run, a 21-mile long run. So then, when I was doing that 20-mile or 21-mile long run, I was running into whatever issues that I would have during a race. So
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
I would figure out what to do. I would take a few in from home, uh, and then I figured out that whatever something I took from my house that was working well for me. So
Hmm. Hmm.
I started working with that, and then I ran the Chicago Marathon. I went under 4 hours. I think I finished in 3 hours and 57 minutes. I was
Hmm.
very happy because from a 6 hour marathon, I was
Yeah.
able to go under 4 hours.
2 hours. Yeah.
So, and that was very similar to what I thought earlier, that if I can run a 2 hour
Yeah.
half marathon, I can run a 4 hour marathon. So I
Right.
was
Right.
in that this one. So I thought, okay, now I'm able to
Yeah.
run a 4 hour marathon. So I thought,
Yeah.
okay, now maybe I have to see if I can qualify for
Yeah.
Boston. Uh,
So in Chicago, you
yeah.
talked
So
about for your training runs, using food from home for the long runs. Now, for the Chicago Marathon itself, what was your nutritional strategy? Did you actually carry food, real food from home, or what did you do?
yeah, so what I did for the Chicago marathon, my wife was with me. So
Okay.
they had traveled with me, my wife and son. So in the morning of the race, I had a proper breakfast. Earlier, whenever I did, I would never have a breakfast. I would eat a
mm,
banana.
mm,
For some reason,
mm.
the banana before the run was not working for me. Even at home,
Okay.
when I was doing my training run, when I have a banana and then go out and run, I don't know why. Normally, bananas work very well for people, but banana
Right,
never
right,
worked for me. So
right.
I had a good breakfast uh, the day of the marathon, and I knew that I need a gel at the beginning of a marathon. So I need one or two gels. The problem is after that I'm not able to eat a gel.
Mm, mm,
So
mm.
I went with my thing of having one or two gels at the beginning of the marathon. I did that in Chicago. But then after that, what I did, I took the what my wife had made with dates and she made a laddu sort of a small
Oh,
laddu
nice.
sort of a in at
Mm,
home with a lot of ghee and everything. So
mm,
I
mm.
took those small balls and then that's all I had. And yeah, I didn't have any stomach issues in that
Wow.
marathon. I did I did well. I think I would
You didn't,
train
didn't
for a
you,
4 hour
you
marathon.
didn't, sorry, you didn't patent that recipe and make it a product yet, huh?
Yeah, so that again, it worked for me in the marathon. It didn't work
Uh-huh.
for me in the longer run. So
Okay.
yeah, but it worked for me in the marathon. So
Okay.
yeah, it
Okay.
worked for me at Chicago. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Back to
uh,
the Chicago Marathon. So
and
great.
then
So
I
I think,
got
yeah,
yeah,
go ahead.
it went well. So then by then I got to know a lot more people in the running community, and then
Mm,
they were
mm,
telling me that there are downhill marathons. They call it the
mm,
Anvil
mm, mm.
marathon, wherein it's mostly downhill. You start at about 6,000 or 7,000 feet altitude, and then you run down.
Yeah.
And when I was running, I realized that I'm a good downhill runner.
Mm,
I can run really well on the downhill.
mm, mm,
So I
mm.
thought, okay, this being a downhill marathon, maybe I can qualify for Boston. So I signed up for the Mount Hood
Okay.
Marathon, where it was in 2019,
Mm,
I think. So where they take you to the top of Mount Hood or
mhm,
until the where you have the resort there, and then you run down. And then I thought, okay, I mean, I can do a sub 7 pace on the downhill. So I
mm,
felt this will be a good marathon. I can use that to qualify for Boston.
mm,
Uh,
mm.
what happened there was I started well, but the downhill marathon I didn't know downhills were so hard running for
Yeah.
when it was mine. So and the downhill marathons are very deceiving because it's
Yeah.
downhill until about 22 miles.
Mm,
After that, you have a flat or a rolling, or they can't do a
mm,
downhill all the way from top to the bottom. You
mm,
will
mm,
get some flat or rolling towards the very
mm,
end. And in Mount Hood, the last 5 miles were not downhill; it was mostly rolling or
mm,
flat.
mm.
I suffered. Whatever good time I made, the last 5 miles, I I didn't have any leg. I mean, my
Yeah.
quads were gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
literally walked. I finished in 3 hours and 45 minutes. I was
Oh,
like, I mean, I was
that's still
able to
faster
run
than.
Chicago in 3 hours of speed. Yeah, but I never expected that I would be running
Yeah.
at 3 hours 45 minutes from Mount Hood. I went all the way to Oregon. Again, my family were there. I did everything same like
Yeah.
Chicago, but it went all downhill after my
Yeah.
20, and
Yeah.
then I finished in 3 hours 45 minutes, and that was not the improvement I was hoping for. I was hoping to do a lot better. And 2019 was a very low year for me. Nothing was going well for me in 2019. I was even doing ultra marathons. I did not finish 350 kilometers because I wanted to do an ultramarathon. Before that, in 2017, I signed up for my very first ultramarathon. I did my marathon, the Fremont one, in April. In June, I signed up for the ultramarathon because I wanted to run and be an ultramarathon finisher.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did that. I finished that in 8.5 hours, or more than 8.5 hours. Even that didn't go very well. I had the same nutrition I was in. It didn't go very well. So I was doing ultra marathons. I wanted to do well. I wanted to do too many things. I wanted to do a Boston qualifier. I wanted to do ultra marathons. I wanted to do well there. Nothing was what in 2019. Whatever I tried, nothing worked. I did not finish all the 50 kilometers I started. I did not finish any of them.
Wow.
I thought I will do well at a marathon. I thought I'll do well at Mount Hood. When it didn't go well, I finished, but Ria
Yeah.
45 was not what I
Not
thought
what
I
you
will do.
expected. You
Yeah,
know,
so
talking about downhill marathons, I hear you, right, and there's something I wanted to call out here. So I did the Sandia Crest marathon in New Mexico, which is very similar to what you are describing. It's a net downhill,
okay.
and I think it was net downhill up till about mile 13 or mile 14,
Okay.
and I agree with you that by the time I was at the 14th of 14th mile, my quads were gone. You know, they were basically toast. Running
Yep.
downhill, most of
Yep.
us think is is a cakewalk,
Yep.
but the amount of stress it puts on your quads, it just uh, I hear you. And when you said after mile 22, you had 5 miles to go and your quads were gone, I
Yeah.
completely hear
I
you.
mean, and the Boston is recognizing the downhill marathon as a qualifier. There will be a valid reason for them to recognize it. I mean, otherwise everyone would go run downhill and get into Boston.
And
So
Boston also is a net
yeah, yeah,
low decline, right? Yeah,
yeah, it's a net downhill. Yeah,
going downhill. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So 2019, I think was again a year where I
Hmm.
had a lot of failures where nothing went well, and I started doubting myself. I
Hmm.
felt maybe I'm not meant to be a ultra runner.
Hmm.
Maybe I should stop at half marathon. People around
Hmm.
me were telling me the same thing. They would say, "You don't have any body weight on you. You are underweight. You are not
Hmm.
even 100 pounds. So if you need to do endurance, if you need to do ultra, you need to have body fat on you."
Hmm. Hmm.
And I myself felt I don't think I need to be. I don't belong to ultra running
Hmm. Hmm.
because I mean I didn't want to suffer every run, get
Yeah.
back home, suffer for another 3 to 4 hours. My wife was like, "Oh my God, what's happening to you?" I would.
Hmm.
I mean, my parents back in India were like, "Oh,
Why are you
I
doing
mean,
this?
why are you doing this? Why are you killing yourself? Why do you want to
Hmm.
do this?" So it yeah, and even
So
I
what
felt
clicked?
maybe
So what
yeah.
uh,
So
what happened? Where was the turning point?
turning point was I mean pandemic happened
Hmm. Hmm.
2020.
Hmm.
Uh, all of us ended up working from home.
Hmm.
Uh,
Hmm.
I the schools were all online. Everything was online. I had a lot of time with me. Uh,
Hmm.
so that year, 2020, everything started happening for me. I
Hmm.
had more time with me. I would just go out, run by myself.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, do long runs because I had time. I could go do a 20 miler, a 25 miler. I would do a 6 hour neighborhood run around
Hmm.
my. So I would something outside my house. I would
Hmm.
start at around 6 in the morning. I would keep running around the neighborhood till about 12. I would get back home after 6 hours. I would have done about 34, 35 miles, and
Wow.
all my problems with nutrition, and there were many virtual races that were
Right. Right.
happening. I signed up for one of the virtual races. Again, we had many people here in the Bay Area who signed up for it. So we
Yeah.
we were trying to finish it. I was doing like 80 miles a week, 90 miles a week,
Wow.
100 miles a week. I mean, it was normal. I think that
Yeah.
year 2020, I ran more than 3,200 miles that year. Uh,
Wow.
and I mean, they were all runs where I would go to a nearby park. I would park my vehicle there. I would have all the food and water there. I would run a 50 miler over there.
Wow.
I would get back home. And then I would go somewhere else, run another 50 miles, uh, get back home. It would take me
You
about
know,
10 minutes. So,
while you say this, it's something that we've discussed this with many other guests, and we've always talked about that. I know COVID was a very nasty thing in general for everyone and everybody in humanity, but I think the runners were thriving. It's like
yeah,
ironical, but most
yeah,
runners were thriving. They, hey, I have more time now. I can go run, right?
yeah. I mean, yeah, it was a very bad year. I've had people very close to the family who unfortunately did not make it. Uh,
Mm,
but from a positive point of view,
yeah, yeah,
not only me, even my wife, uh, she's, she, she had a long time passion that she was not able to spend more time. She was able to do it. I was able, running was something that I really, really loved.
yeah, yeah.
So 2020, I could do more runs with a small group of people.
Mm,
We were running, on. I would go do my own runs, and if I had to do something, if one or two people knew I was doing something, there would be a ton of people who would show up
yeah,
to
yeah.
support me. On the day of my birthday, I decided to run my first 100 mile because
Really?
I was doing 50-mile runs on my
Yeah.
own, or with people, with a small set of people. We would do a 40-mile run. I was feeling great. I thought, and I was doing 100-mile weeks for like 7 or 8 weeks. I was doing 90 plus
Mm,
miles a week.
wow.
So I thought, okay, now is the time to see if I can run 100 miler. At that
And this
time,
was self-supported 100 miler.
it was supposed to be self-supported,
Mm.
but I just ended up telling one friend of mine that I'm
Uh-huh.
planning to run 100 miler, and he I mean, he was amazing. He circulated a spreadsheet with a timing, and they said
Uh-huh.
he's doing 100 miler. We need to support him. So
Mhm.
people put out their names. They said, "I will be out there from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. I'll
Mm,
be out there
mm,
from
mm,
7 to 9 a.m." So people from my running club, local running club, and people from the safe running group and
mhm, mhm,
even spring running club. Everyone was there. There was not a
mm,
point where I was doing it alone. Someone was there with me, running with me.
mm, mm,
It was July. Uh, I'm born in July, so I wanted to finish the 100 mile on the day of my birthday. That
mm,
was the
mm.
plan. It was going well. It was very, very hot. Again, I started having stomach issues. I didn't
And this was
finish.
a
I
trail. This
stopped
was on
at.
the trails, right? On the
Yeah,
trails,
this
correct?
was on the trail.
Okay.
My plan was
Mhm,
I'll run on the trail until
mhm,
night, and then after night I will run on in my neighborhood,
mhm, mhm,
and
mhm,
then in the morning, whatever remaining miles I have, I'll go back and finish it on the
mhm,
trail.
mhm,
So that was my plan. But at mile 44 or 45,
mm,
I had to stop. I mean, I I was there for about an hour and a half, but it never got
mm,
better.
mm,
So I stopped. So in
mm,
July, I wanted to run 100 mile. It didn't happen. Ultimately, I ended up running 100 mile in November. I finished
mm,
my first 100 mile in November. Again, it was not a race because in 2020 we never had any race.
mm,
A
mm,
very good friend of mine, he organized a 100 mile, a 100 kilometer he organized a run starting from his house,
Mm.
and it started at 3 in the morning. And then
Mm.
we ran from his house. We ran a few loops, and then we went to the hills. And then
Mm.
there were people who set up aid station in their vehicle. People set up aid station in their home. So we would
Wow.
just go from one to another. And unfortunately, I think that time the COVID had there was I think the Delta wave or I don't remember.
Mm.
So
Mm.
at 10 p.m. there was a lockdown. They said
Mm.
everyone needs to be back home at 10 o'clock, uh,
Mm.
uh, no matter what. So I didn't want to stop. I think I'd done about 65 miles. I wanted to
Mm.
finish it. And
Mm.
then I was running, but the race organizer, the friend, he found me. He picked me up where I was. And then he said, "No way you're running. You have to get back home." So he got me back home, and then we started. I done 65 miles.
Yeah.
I was there at home for about 8 hours. Went back in the morning at 5 o'clock, and then I finished the remaining 35 miles.
Wow.
With, so then, so all this happened in 2020. So then I knew, wow. I mean, I could run 90 miles a week. I can run 100 miles, even though with a break in between, I can run 100 miles. I can just go out and run a 40, 50 miles. Whenever I feel like I can go out and
Mm.
run a
Mm. Mm.
40 or a
Mm.
50 miles. I can
Mm.
run 90 miles a week. So I said, I, I mean, that is where I got the confidence that
Yeah.
I can do this. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
that being underweight, being less than 100 pounds, you can't run a ultra marathon.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was huge.
Lovely.
2019 was a very low year for me. 2020 was a very, very high year for me. And a lot of my friends played a huge role because they supported me. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Amazing. That's beautiful. And community is so important in something like
yeah,
this, right? Because
yeah,
you mentioned earlier as well when you started, you were amongst people who were talking about ultras, you were talking about 100 milers and BQ, and as a beginner, you're listening to all these, conversations, and unconsciously, it's kind of building on you, right? And so much, so important that environment is for that, and then also the fact that they came together to support you in your
yeah,
projects, which is so important, right? The
yeah,
community aspect.
yeah. I think they knew I've seen a lot of failures, and they knew
Hmm.
that I was not having a lot of confidence. So I think they also felt
Hmm.
that, I mean, being there, I
Yeah.
mean, I think that really helped me. All these people who stood by me in that year, I
Yeah.
think was really very
Lovely.
helpful for me. So I think
So beautiful.
all this happened in 2020. In November, I ran my first 100 mile. 2020, in December, I went and ran the CIM road marathon. I was not even praying for running a road marathon. I mean, but I had the volume. Like I said, I was
Right. Right.
doing
Right.
80, 90 miles a week.
Right.
I
Right.
ran about
Right.
3,000 miles. I went and ran the CIM. I didn't have any goal. I was signed up. I went and ran. And I finished it in 3 hours and 35 minutes or something. And
Hmm.
then I was like, wow. 3 hours and 35 minutes without any training for a road marathon. If I'm able to do it, and by then I had turned 45. Yeah, uh,
Hmm.
I was
Hmm.
45 years old. And then in Boston, you get a 10-minute window.
Hmm.
From 3:10, Boston qualifier was at 3:20 for me. And then I said I
Okay.
ran a
Ah,
CIM with 3:35 without any training. And I need to get a 3:20 for qualifier. Then
right.
I knew now I'm in. Now
Yeah.
I
No.
can qualify. So I got back home. I immediately signed up for uh, again I said I'll do a downhill marathon. Maybe whatever I did last time didn't go very well, but I will do it the right way. I signed up for a downhill marathon in April in Vegas, and yeah, so that's how I signed up for the downhill marathon, and that is when I got my B2. I ran my marathon in 3 hours and 10 minutes, and I had a
Wow.
10-minute window over there, and uh,
Which was this downhill marathon?
so
The one that you.
that's the Mount Charleston downhill
Hmm.
marathon. It's in
That's
Las
also
Vegas.
California.
No, it's in Vegas. It's in
Okay.
so it's in Las Vegas,
Hmm.
about 40 miles from Las Vegas, where they take you to the top of the mountain. Again,
Hmm.
22 miles in downhill. The last 4 miles in rolling. But
Wow.
I trained very well for it. Even before I started the race, I was very, very sure that I'll get my BQ. Unless I have a fall or I break my leg, I knew that I'll get my BQ in that race. Uh,
So what was your training strategy to do downhill running? What did you do different this time?
yeah, so this time what I did, as soon as I signed up for the marathon, I by then I was not having any running coach with me,
Hmm.
because I was not doing any road running
Hmm. Hmm.
from 2018. I was doing more of ultra running. I wanted to get into ultra running. So I told my
Hmm. Hmm.
coach back in India that I don't think it's working out because you are trying to help me qualify for Boston, and I'm going and running. Uh, I'm not even running much on the road. So I told
Hmm.
him I'll not. I didn't continue with them. So, but here I knew a friend who had run Boston the year before,
Hmm.
and I knew that he was very, very good at road running. So I
Hmm.
reached out to him. I told him, "Can you give me a plan? I want to
Hmm.
qualify for Boston. I'm a 3:35 marathoner. I need to get
Hmm.
a 3:20." He gave me the plan. The very first thing I noticed in the plan was that there was a medium long run in the middle of
Hmm.
the week, and there was
Hmm.
a long run on on a Sunday of the week, on a Saturday of
Hmm.
the week. And I asked him, why am I doing a 14 miler or a 15 miler in the middle of a week? And then
Hmm.
I'm doing a 18 miler to a 21 miler on
Hmm.
a Sunday. He said, you do it, you will
Hmm.
know. And I think that was the only change compared to my
Wow.
earlier plan, that every week, in the middle of a week, I was
Hmm.
doing a medium long run, which was about 14 miles to 13 to a 16 miler.
Right.
And the way I would do a medium, or the way he told me to do the medium on the long run is, he told me divide it into three. The
Hmm.
first one third, go easy. The
Hmm.
The middle one third, go at a moderate pace, or at
Hmm.
20% lower than your marathon pace.
Hmm.
The
Hmm.
final one third is when you go out at about
Hmm.
10% lower than your marathon pace, or
Hmm.
you run hard. You finish
Hmm.
strong, where you are already on your tired legs, so you run
Hmm.
in the last one third hard. I was doing that every week. And he told me not to do too much of downhill running. He said, you are
Okay.
training for a downhill marathon, but if you do too much of downhill running, you are going to injure yourself. So I think I did only two long runs downhill, and I think I did only one 10-kilometer downhill. But what I think really helped me were the medium long runs in the middle of the week, every week. That is what really helped me.
Wow. And how long was your long run in the weekend?
Weekend long runs were about 18 to 21 miles,
20 miles.
17 to
Hmm.
21 miles.
Hmm.
21 is the longest I think I ran, or 22 is the longest I ran. The the midweek run, I think the maximum was about 15. Uh,
Hmm.
and the overall, so I told them that I don't want to run more than 5 days a week.
Mm.
because I always felt I need 2 days of recovery.
Right.
So I would never run on a Monday and on a Friday.
Okay.
Monday, because my long run is normally on a Sunday
Hmm.
or a Saturday. So Monday I don't run. Friday I don't run because I get ready for the weekend. So I don't run. So my plan was for running 5 days a week, and in the maximum I ran was about 75 miles a week. Or yeah, I think that in the maximum I did, and it really worked very well for me. That
Yeah.
plan, and I don't think I missed even 1 week of training. Every
Mm.
week my training was on par
Lovely.
with what was given to me. Yeah,
That's lovely. That's lovely. I think that is an interesting, that's an interesting take or a approach to training. I think that from what I've read or what I've seen, training plans, very rarely does someone recommend medium long run, which is that, to me it makes sense. Actually, it makes
yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
sense because that's helping you build that aerobic capacity,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
and and I think 75 miles a week is still not, it's significant volume. So that
yeah, yeah,
it's not on the lower end. It's
yeah.
definitely a significant volume. So yeah, that's awesome. So congratulations. So that's great. You qualified.
For
Your
Boston,
training
yeah,
seems to have worked. So your nutrition seemed to have also been,
yeah, yeah,
in
yeah. I didn't change anything. Whatever I worked for me. On the day of my run, I think we had rava idli at breakfast in the morning. That is what we ate in the morning before the run, and then during the run, I did what I was doing earlier. It worked really well for me.
perfect. And then you did the Boston this year, this month, this couple of weeks back, right? Was
Yes,
your Boston? So
yep,
congratulations on
yep.
that. And how was that? How did that go for you?
Yeah. So Boston, I mean, it is a race. I feel people need to run it to know how it is. I mean, it is so amazing. The people are really, really amazing. The race is something else. I've done a few marathons. Nothing even comes close to Boston. The atmosphere is amazing. I mean, from mile one until the very last mile, people are there. No matter how bad the weather is, it could be raining, it could be pouring. People are there. People are cheering. They are so loud. They are so noisy. I mean, the energy is amazing. Uh, my race, I went and injured. Uh, I mean, because after my Tahoe 200, I had a fracture. I did not give enough time to recover. I think I started running a little too earlier, so that left leg uh, was not feeling very good even during my training. I I pulled back a little bit during my training. Instead of running 5 days a week, I was only running 3 days a week, and in 5 weeks I was very low volume on
Hmm.
training. So I knew I mean I can't do very well. I When I started training I wanted to do at 320, and then I thought I'd do at 330. But the way the all this happened, I was like, time is not something that I will look for at Boston. I'm going to look at that experience. I mean, I worked really hard to get to Boston. So I was like, I don't
Yeah.
want to be queuing everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't want to be not having a. I want to have a good time. So I finished in about 3 hours and 44 minutes. Uh, but I really loved the race. I had a lot of fun. I had a smile on my face the entire way, and
Right.
I'm very happy with how my Boston went.
Right. Right. And you had Inuit Kipchoge to keep the spirits alive as well, right?
Yeah,
He was, yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, that's I think the only place where I mean he's somewhere dead.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
never see him.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, absolutely. Beautiful. So that is such a lovely journey so far on the BQ side, and I know, um, your journey is intertwined. So the BQ was one, and then let's kind of maybe pivot into your journey to Tao 200. That was another big event for you, right? And I completely get that.
Yeah,
You're from a prep perspective, from your learning and evolution as a runner point of view, a lot of it was intertwined. And while on one path you went out and did BQ, you had another path going on with regards to conquering the world of ultras, which is the 200 miler. So what was, how did that happen, and how did you prep for that?
yeah. So I think I ran my 200 minor. So I qualified for Boston in April
Hmm.
2021, and then
Hmm.
I ran my 200 minor in June 2021. So in a span of 2 months, I qualified for Boston, and then I finished my Tahoe 200 mile. So this was in 2021. Again,
Hmm.
no, 22, sorry. This was
Right.
last year.
Mhm. Right.
2022 is when both of these happened. So
Right. Right.
2020 and 2021 were the 2 years where I was 2020 I did more than 3,000 miles. 2021 was also a year where I did a lot of running. And
Hmm.
2021 is where I did something called as Everesting.
Okay.
Everesting is basically where you pick a hill and then you keep going up and down that hill. Uh, the number of times you need to get to the uh, altitude or the elevation of Mount Everest. So I did that with a friend. We went up and down that hill for 13 hours, 39 hours, and then we finished it. It was about 107 miles and about 29,000 feet of elevation. And then, so this happened in 2021. I again ran another uh, run with two of my friends starting from my house in we ran all the way to Hartford Bay
Hmm.
beach. So like there's so many things were happening in 20 and 21. Even though my races, I tried to run my first 100 miler as a race. It was going really well, but I DNF at mile 65 because of sleep. I started
Hmm.
hallucinating. I didn't know what it was. I DNF. A week later, I went and paged a friend. She was doing her first 100 miler, and I paged her from mile 70 until mile 100. We were the last finisher, but in that race, I saw her fighting it out. She was
Hmm.
not having a good time. She never gave up. She finished the race. I ran the last 30 miles with her. We finished it with 5 minutes to spare. I think
Hmm.
it was a 30-hour cut-off. We finished in 29 hours and 55 minutes.
Wow.
So that really helped me. Spending
Hmm.
that time with her, seeing her go through everything, finish that race, that is when I said that in my case, I do very well in training. Everything goes very well. But when it
Hmm.
comes to a race, my mind is not
Hmm.
very strong. I
Hmm.
If something goes wrong, I start panicking, and then I give up for whatever reason. So
Interesting.
I think I joined. I started doing yoga sometime in
Hmm.
2021. So yoga helped me a lot. I mean, it helped me
Hmm.
remain calm. It got me that mental strength that I needed. So I was doing a lot of yoga. Even now I do yoga. I practice yoga 5 days a week, 1 hour
Hmm.
every day. And that yoga played a huge role. So the yoga was, I think I started in June of 2021. I was
Hmm.
doing all these. 2022 is when I ran the Tahoe 200. Uh, so I was training for Boston. I was putting in all the volume. Everything was there. I was doing yoga 5 days a week. I was doing all the volume. I had 2 good years where I had a very good volume. over the year, every week volume was very good. And I was building a lot of strength because of yoga. People say yoga is more for the mind, it's more for breathing, but
Hmm.
yoga really, really builds a lot of strength. I was
Hmm.
building a lot of strength via yoga. I don't do anything else. And I knew uh, what my weaknesses were. So I
Hmm.
worked on my weaknesses as part of the Tahoe towards the training. I did that, and that really worked for me. I was able to finish that Tahoe towards it.
Amazing. So, yeah, I think those are great points, especially about yoga. I've heard that before, especially people who practice yoga and runners. It's a very complementary to your running, injury free, and you're also bringing another element, which is also the mind aspect, which is important for long distance running. And you make a great point there. Now, I also hear from what you're saying that 2021 built your confidence, right? You are now feeling stronger. You are feeling gently more positive about your ability to do things more. Now, this
Yeah,
decision to do the 200, what prompted that? Was it just on your anvil, or is it one of those things that you said you're inspired by somebody, or what prompted it?
yeah. So when you are surrounded by people
Yeah.
who are doing all this, so I knew that in 2019, I think that is
Mm,
when three of my friends had signed up for a 200 miler. I never knew that
mm,
people were running 200 miles, so that is the very first time. But I knew I was nowhere ready to run a 200. I mean, 2019 was a very bad year for me. I was not
mm,
even able
mm,
to run a 50 kilometers. But I knew that somewhere down the line,
mm.
if I know I'm ready, I want to run a 200 mile. But I never planned anything to run a 200 mile. All I was doing is I
Mm.
wanted to get better at ultra running. I wanted to
Right.
run long because I love running. So I
Right.
wanted to spend more time out there running. I wanted to feel good. So I never had a goal to run a 200 mile. I was very,
Mm,
very inspired, but 2020 and 21, when they were going so well for me, when I was able to run 50 miles, feel very good. I was able to run 100 miles. I was still feeling very good. And then I said, okay, I mean, I feel now
mm.
I think I'm ready. I didn't hurry up.
Right.
Like earlier on, I I just hurried up and then I signed up for a marathon. I hurried up, I
Mm.
signed up for a marathon. I was not even ready, but I went and signed up. Now what I did,
Yeah.
I knew I was ready for a 200 mile. I knew I, I've been doing very well running long. So
Yeah.
that is when I said I will go and run a 200 mile. I signed up for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Makes sense. Almost like an organic growth
And
towards that 200 miler, right?
yeah, yeah. I think over time, you realize that what is I mean, you need that challenge, but
Yeah.
you cannot make a challenge so hard or so very impossible. There needs to be a line where you think you may do it if you
Mm.
work towards it, but it's not that it's not possible to do it. So 200 miles
Yeah.
for me was that type of a challenge where I knew that if I put in the time, if I put in the effort, if I train well, I would do it. And I knew that if I do it, it would be a huge challenge and it would be a huge accomplishment if I finish it. So that type of a goal was a 200 miles for me when I signed up.
Yeah. Makes sense. Awesome. So let's zoom in the event itself, the Tahoe 200. How did that go? Did everything go as per your plan? Did any unplanned surprises that you had to deal with?
Yeah, so I put in a lot of time planning for the 200 mile. I created a spreadsheet. I had a team of about 10 people. I mean, when I
Wow.
started out, I didn't know how to ask people for support. So I
Hmm.
never asked
Hmm.
anyone if they can support me. And it was in the summer. I knew people will plan to go to India, or people will plan to go to Europe. Or, I mean, they would have family time. So I never asked anyone. But luckily, people reached out to me saying, "We know you signed up for a 200 mile. We want to be there for support you." So I had
Hmm.
10 people supporting me. So I put out a plan where who will be there to face me, who will be there to
Hmm.
crew me, what are my time, what are my splits, uh, what is the time when if I'm feeling really good, what would be the time at the aid station. If I'm feeling really bad, I had a goal to finish under 90 hours, and then
Hmm.
I put all my time in for a 90-hour finish. And then I said, if I don't finish good, the goal was 100-hour finish. So I put in the time for 100-hour finish. And then my training, I knew what I had to do in training. So I trained very well for a 200 mile by doing what I needed to do. So the race, it went very well until mile 70. I was
Hmm.
doing well. I was slower than what I wanted to be, but I was feeling good. I was eating well. But then I started feeling the pain at mile 70 on my left leg. I told my friend who was facing me that it's hurting, but then we said we'll keep moving. And then at mile 85, it was really, really bad. I knew something was not wrong, but then we continued on. At mile 100, uh, I opened up and then I knew that my feet were swollen up.
Hmm.
Uh, so normally I would have panicked. If
Hmm.
during the earlier years I would have definitely panicked, I would have given up. But again, I think I handled it in a very calm way. I was there
Hmm.
in my vehicle. I slept in my van and at the parking lot of a station. I slept there for about 2 hours. I woke up and then the person who was supposed to face me, he said he's not able to face me because he was
Oh.
not feeling very good. So, and it was at 20 mile. I mean, typically the 200 mile days stations are about 20 to 25 miles apart. In a 100
Hmm.
mile days stations are about 10 miles. Here it's about
Okay.
20 miles or 25 miles. So, if you're feeling good, it could be about 6 hours or 7 hours. Otherwise, it could even be about 10 to 11 hours to go from one age station
Right.
to another age station. So uh, the moment he told me he was not feeling good, again I was very I said, I'll go out, I'll do it on my own, no problem, I'll manage it. So I left age station feeling very, very positive. And I went, uh, it was hurting, but I knew that at that point I was able to run a little, hike a little, run a little, hike a little. I got there to mile 120, another friend joined me. So I finished the first 100 mile in about 40 hours. I
Hmm.
had a goal of 90 hours, but the next 100 miles were all in pain. My feet were hurting really, my foot was hurting really bad. The next 100 miles was just all mental,
Mind.
and
Hmm.
it was just pushing through, and then I finished in about 97 hours. Uh,
Wow.
uh, but and then I realized that I had a fracture on that foot.
Hmm.
But I mean, it was just, I never thought any time during the race that I want to give up. I mean, normally I'm not that strong, but I don't know what happened in that 200 mile. I never wanted to give up. I never even spoke about giving up to any of the people who were supporting me. And even the people who were supporting me, they were like, they just wanted to see me finish.
Beautiful.
So it was about
That's such a
40 hours that
lovely.
went very well. Yeah.
No, that's an incredible story, Kiran, because you also mentioned, right? I mean, I think one thing I hear from what you're saying is, there's a constant learning about oneself that is happening
Yeah.
as a ultra or endurance sports, which is very key. And you called that out. You saw that lady. You when you talked about that pacing the other
Yeah.
friend of
Yeah.
yours. you picked it up there, right? That hey, this you learned from her that giving up was not an option, and you seem to
Yep.
have brought that back into your and plus yoga helped, and
Yep.
I think all of that kind of helped you go through the balance 100 miles and the 200-mile race, and which is incredible, right? But I think the credit goes to you because you seem to have imbibed those learnings in the process, right?
Yeah. I yeah. I mean, I think it's all about how you handle it in the mind.
Mm,
I think
mm,
ultra running is more in the mind
yeah.
because than and ultra running I feel it's a different world. It's so humbling. Uh,
Mm,
you end up being a very different person once you get into the ultra running world. There is no ego. There is you cannot have any ego in you. You need to be so humble. You go through all that ups and downs that you are transformed as a person once you get in ultra running and you do ultra running. I personally, what I was 7 years or 6 years back, what I am
mhm.
now, I I see a lot of changes in me
Right.
as a person. Ultra running does that to you. It humbles you. It grounds you
Mm.
and it
Yeah.
makes you a very different person.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Yeah, I mean, you signed up for the 200 miler, so that it's your will, right? And at the same time, it's incredible that you are saying you're humbled at the end of the process because I'm assuming when you started off, there was a certain level of surety or certainty, and then you go through it and you realize that hey, whatever I planned is not what happened, but you bow your head to that, right? So that's quite amazing. Awesome. So congratulations on that. And
And
so what next for you? What's on the anvil?
yeah, so now I think the plan for me is to I think I'll be signing up for the Moab 240 miler next. I want to do it next year. As soon as I finish Tahoe 200, I think I decided that I want to run Moab 240. That is something that I want to do next year. And I also want to run Western States and UTMB. So I want to qualify. I want to do whatever I need to do to even get in there. At some point, I want to run. And another goal that I have is to do an Ironman
Hmm.
at some point. But I know that training is very different for Ironman. I do swimming, but I don't do open water swimming. So that is something that I need to get used to open water swimming. And the training is very different. I don't think I can do ultra running and Ironman. So maybe I need to decide a year where I want to do an
Hmm.
Ironman and do uh, only Ironman related stuff, not
Right.
really. So Ironman is something that I really want to do
Mhm.
sometime.
Lovely. Awesome. Great. It's great to have the vision and the goals that keep you going and gives you a purpose to stay fit and stay healthy to do those things, right? All the best. I We do hope that you will go out and do those things and conquer Western States, UTMB, and of course, the Moab 240. Amazing. So all the best for that. So, Kiran, thanks. And I think we kind of covered a fair bit of ground in terms of your journey. Very insightful. A lot to take away. I personally took away a lot from your journey. Very inspiring. How you've kind of came back and how you built it, and then you've kind of accomplished the goals that you wanted to. So that's quite amazing. Coming to the last and the next part of the conversation, I have a fun Q&A round. And So you ready for that?
Yeah, yeah,
I probably you've seen that in some of the other
yeah,
uh, questions. So hopefully you don't know the questions, but let's see. Okay. So, my first favorite question, which is like almost like a survey nowadays, has become, I talk to all the athletes and we talk about good food, good health, all that good stuff. But, we're human beings and we have our indulgences and in the area of food, for sure. What's your favorite junk food or a cheat food?
Yeah. So I'm from South India. I'm from Bangalore, and my favorite on whatever I like to eat is the masala puri,
Uh-huh.
the pani puri, the masala puri, and yeah. So we have it once a home, once a week. My wife makes it. That's something that I really like. I mean, I eat a lot of junk food. So
This is your favorite.
yeah, one of
This is
one
your
of my
favorite.
favorite. One of my favorite. I like
Okay.
gulab jamuns. I mean,
Ah,
I like gulab jamun with ice cream. So
there you go.
yeah,
There
I
you
mean
go.
I need anything. So
That's a serious cheat food or junk food because chaats, well, masala puri, it got so many other ingredients which are
yeah,
also good for
yeah,
you. So,
yeah.
great. All right. So, what's the uh, funniest or a strange thing that people have told you in a social setting or wherever, right? Where you meet people all the time, you're not meeting runners. Sometimes, you tend to get these very strange comments. So, what's the funniest or the strangest thing has someone told you about your endurance journey?
I mean, like I said, um, people never believe me. That
Mhm.
I mean, for a long time, they never believed that I even run long.
So give me one
So
statement, like one statement a specific statement somebody has told you on your face that you found very funny or strange, about your journey.
I mean, they would look at my leg. My legs are so thin. I
Uh-huh.
mean, they are very very skinny. So they would look at that and they would be like, "How can you even do 30, 40 miles on these legs? I mean, it's impossible. How can you even do it on these?"
Got it.
I
Got it.
mean, in a
Got it.
nice way, in a very
Yeah,
humorous
yeah,
way.
yeah, 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 yeah. All right. What's your favorite running gadget?
My favorite running is my watch.
Watch.
Uh, yeah, I don't listen to music while running.
Okay.
But I like the watch. I do all the workout settings on my watch, depending on what type of run I want to do. I do it, and then I use the navigation on my watch. Uh,
Ah,
so I do quite a bit. So if
yeah.
I don't have a watch while running, if I forget my watch, I sometimes even get back home to take the watch and go back and run.
All right. That makes sense. Are you a sunrise or a sunset person?
I was never an early runner.
Hmm.
I always run after 9, but then once you start running with people, there are
Hmm.
people who start running at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and slowly I got used to it. Now I like to run in the morning.
Hmm.
I mean, even on a weekend, I like to start at say 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, like to be back home by 9 in the morning.
Hmm.
So now I prefer to run in the
So
morning.
now you're a sunrise person.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it doesn't happen all the time. But I really want to get my run out early in the morning.
Right. Right. Makes sense. All right. The next one, the last one is a question I ask all my guests is if we made a movie out of your life so far, what genre would you put it in? Whether it's sports drama, comedy, or whatever that is. And who would you hire to play your character? Which actor will you hire?
Oh my god. Uh, I, I mean, the movie has to be a fun movie. I
Fun,
mean,
adventure.
I fun adventure. I like to have a
Hmm.
lot of fun. I'm not a very serious person. Uh,
Nice.
and the person who will play the role. Uh, I like Okay, I like Amir Khan. I've
Hmm.
seen a lot of it. I mean, in every movie of his, I see his movie. And Amir Khan is not someone who's very tall. He's a very short person. Even I'm not very tall. And yeah, so maybe Amir Khan.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Amir Khan ji, we're sending a script your way. And I think he's also known to physically transform himself to the
Yeah,
roles he
yeah,
plays. So
yeah,
he
yeah,
would be the perfect person.
yeah, yeah.
All right. That's awesome. Great. So we learned a few more things in the process about you, Kiran. Thanks for being a sport. We're kind of coming to a wrap up here, Kiran. Again, thanks a lot for sharing your journey. Any final last word? I give you the last word that you want to share with our audience and listeners.
Okay. Yeah. I think based on what I've gone through these last 7 years, I think when you get started, uh, with anything. It need not be running, it could be anything. I feel what worked for me is not to have a very long term goal. I think what helps is have very, very small goals, like being
Mm,
able to run a mile or being able and not putting a time into it. It's not
mhm,
like put in I want to run a mile under 5 minutes or I want to
mm,
run a
mm,
mile
mm.
under 6 minutes. So it's more keeping it very, very simple, and then that I feel would help. It really helped me because if I would have put a time goal or if I would have put a goal like a very long term goal like running a 200 mile, I would have
Mm.
stopped running long time back because
Yeah.
and never give up. I mean, and in that really what we put in all the hard work, never give up. It may not go well for 1 year, it may not go well for 2 years. Be very, very patient. Keep getting out, keep doing what you need to do. It
Yeah.
will work out at some point, and then it will start getting better. And then keep challenging yourself. I mean,
Right.
try to keep raising that bar and
Yeah.
I mean, whatever it is, it may not be running, whatever it is, I think never lose patience. It will take a long time. Even for me with yoga, when I started, I know where I was.
Mm,
It's taken me 2 years to do something that I was
yeah.
not able to do when I got started. So never lose patience. I think that will really,
Yeah.
really help.
Beautiful. It's always no wonder all ultra runners are very wise words, very powerful words. Again, Kiran, thank you so much for taking your time out. Let you go and enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and we'll stay in touch and we'll cheer for all your future projects. Good luck,
And
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 right.
you, sometimes for whatever you do, I mean, you are doing an amazing job. I've looked
Thanks.
at a few people, I mean, there's so many amazing people who come on here. So I've looked at many interviews on, I mean, everyone have inspired me so much. Thank you so much for whatever you are doing.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye, and we'll keep in touch.
Yep. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.